I might be a little camera shy.
Oh, you're a little camera shy, but you're not scared, so I guess you're kind of fearless, right? Like fearless Photog?
Jinx.
Come again.
Dad. No,
okay, thanks. Hey everybody, welcome to another MOTUfigures.com video spotlight. We're talking about the last of the February releases, Fearless Photog. Now I pushed this one off because I was hoping to get something done for this, but it's not going to happen this time. I'm not negating that it's not going to happen at some point, so I don't want to tell you what it was on the chance that it might happen at some point. So, yeah, just don't worry about all that stuff. It's time for Fearless Photog Spotlight. This is my favorite release this month.
Really?
Yeah. Which one's yours?
I'm still deciding between him, Sorceress, and Shadow Weaver. Mostly him and Shadow Weaver, though.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, the only ones you got this month were Sorceress and Shadow Weaver. Right? Keaton got Photog, and I got Photog, obviously. I know for the longest time you kept saying you were going to get Photog this month, but then when it came down to it, you're like, dude, I got to get the Sorceress. You only could afford one, so you got that one.
The Sorceress is really a must-have.
It really is. For me, though, this represents, you know, something that was supposed to come out in my childhood and never happened. Like we talked about with Shadow Weaver, there were two characters this month that were a long time coming. The Shadow Weaver figure from seeing her in the Filmation cartoon all those years, and then this, which was supposed to be a part of the vintage line, but didn't happen. For those that don't know about Fearless Photog, here's a quick, very quick history. There was a vintage creative character contest for Masters of the Universe where kids would submit their designs, and this winner of this contest was supposed to have a figure made. Nathan Bittner was one of the finalists that got voted on, and his character, the Fearless Photog, was chosen as the winner. He got the scholarship, he got a page in the Masters of the Universe magazine, he got to meet Mattel president for a day, and he was supposed to get his figure made. But, as happens sometimes, the best laid plans of mice and men don't always work out so well, and since it was towards the tail end of the line, it just didn't happen. Fast forward all these years to the MOTU Classics line. People are kind of wondering if maybe Photog's a possibility in this line, and
he's a definite now.
He is now for sure. But before it happened, they were saying, could this happen? And the whole thing was hindered by the fact that they couldn't get a hold of Nathan Bittner. Well, Captain Atkin from the He-Man.org forums finds Nathan Bittner, does an interview for my site and for He-Man.org, and gets his contact info and hands it over to Scott. Scott contacts Nathan, and the result is Fearless Photog as a MOTU Classics figure. This is the inaugural figure of the 30th anniversary line for this year, which is introducing sort of new characters into the line, except for Photog, which was an existing character. So he's really the only character of the line that kind of is fitting to the whole 30th anniversary name.
So, he got a scholarship and he got to be president for Mattel for a day. He got all that other stuff, though?
He still got all that other stuff, yeah. The only thing he didn't get was the figure made. Which he said that Mattel treated him so well back then, and, you know, the scholarship and all those things, that he understood that the figure didn't get made, and that wasn't that big of a deal to him. And it's really exciting for him now to have this figure made, because it's like, wow, I can't believe anybody still cared about that. You can read all about that. The first part of the interview is already on the site, MOTUfigures.com. There's a little thing along the side that says creator interviews, and you'll find it there if you really want to read the Nathan Bittner interview. But let's talk about the actual figure. So the design of the figure is almost exact to that drawing from the vintage contest, with the exception of the gun, which is a new addition. Let's look at him here. He's got a new, like,
belt?
I guess belt/underwears piece.
Okay, I'd say a loincloth.
Well, I think it may reuse an existing part with a new sculpting on over it, and then with a new mold. I don't know. It's more like underwears. It's more like underwears.
I wouldn't say underwear about a human figure.
Well, I'm saying it. It's like armor underwear. They've added this belt piece over it, and it's got these, it's not a separate piece, but it's been added to the mold that has these film reels all around, which looks, I think, really cool. And then he's got a new chest piece, which has the rectangular piece for the lenticular. Cool. The lenticular is so well done.
I wish it would have had, like, the sticker it came with a PowerCon, like they showed, like, this.
Oh, yeah, PowerCon, and I think at San Diego, I think it was at San Diego, too, where it had this running symbol all around, and it said Project Photog, and had Bittner's name and all the other ones. Well, that was, I think, before they had the rights to Photog, So there were mentions of Project Photog before they knew they were going to be able to do a Photog figure. But now there's a Photog figure, kind of makes that stuff kind of weird. Other than those pieces, I think everything else is existing. Well, the head is new, but I think everything else is an existing piece. He's got the smooth calf piece that we'll probably see on the Jungle He-Man before he becomes He-Man.
Oh, Ular.
Yeah, Ular. Well, we think it's going to be Ular. We'll probably see those on him, which that piece eliminates the boot cut or the calf swivel cut because you don't have a big ugly cut line in here. A lot of people are upset about that it doesn't have the swivel here. Because there's no cut line, you know, like they usually have with the boot.
You know, I could imagine them, like, you know how he was using that camera for his project? Like, well, I could imagine him coming with, like, a second head, and he could have kind of held it, I guess.
Oh, you're tying into what's in the bio.
Yeah.
We'll hang on to that thought. We'll talk about that. Let's talk about the bio first. Let's finish up talking about him, and then we'll talk about the bio. So, overall, I love the design of the figure. I think the design is so cool. I didn't think I would love it as much when I got it as I do, but the colors are so vibrant, and he just looks so cool in different poses that I love him.
When I was at PowerCon, I mean, like, when I first heard about Photog, I was like, that black and yellow may not look good in the final release, but it looks fine.
I think he looks so cool. There are a couple of things on the black and yellow design, though, that are... a little frustrating, but there's nothing really you can do about it. When they insert these pegs into the knees and the elbows, they have to choose one color for this peg. So they would have to choose either black or yellow. They chose yellow since the yellow's on the outside, but when you're looking on the inside of these things, you can see the yellow rivet inside the black. Not a huge deal. It's not a deal breaker to me. Same with the upper arm area. Here you've got the yellow piece inside there. That's not a huge deal to me. I know some people don't like it, just the same as they don't like the whole not having a boot swivel. But this is just a really, really cool figure. I'm stammering. I like it so much.
I could imagine, like, you just keeping that till this day, and then this figure finally comes out. They made it back then. I could imagine you kind of just keeping that.
If they had a vintage one? Yeah, I probably would have, I have all my vintage ones buried in a box somewhere, but I probably would have kept him, displayed. I think he's just a really cool design. A lot of people think it's cheesy, but, a guy with an elephant head is cheesy. A space cowboy is cheesy.
It is a good figure. You cannot make fun of...
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not making fun of it. No. What I'm saying, though, is if you call this cheesy, having a camera for a head, there's a lot of other He-Man characters that are just as cheesy as that.
If you don't remember stuff too well, take pictures of all your memories. If you have a camera head, you can take pictures of stuff.
I thought you were talking about people. You're saying him.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even have to have a good memory. Let's finish up talking about the figure. We're going off on tangents already. The head design looks a lot like that original drawing. They put in an action feature type thing on this, in that you push this little piece here and it extends his lens forward and back. There is a problem with this. We opened 5 Photogs, I think it was in all. I think it was 5. No, it was 6. We opened 6 Photogs in all, between me and my friends, and 4 out of the 6 had a crack in the lens. When I first saw it, when Matt opened his, and we looked at it, we're like, wow, your lens is cracked. Then we looked at other ones, and they were in the package, and they were cracked, and I posted them online saying, hey, I think there might be a problem with this. And it seems like it's not a hugely widespread problem, but from the way we were breaking it down, it seemed like it affected maybe 25% of the people that were saying things about it, maybe a little more. That's a lot, though, when you think about it overall, that 25% people shouldn't have this problem.
2 things. Now that you mentioned it, you mentioned it on action features.
Yeah.
And I could imagine the vintage toy kind of like having
moving
that same
forward.
action
Yeah,
feature.
I could too. I could really imagine this being the action feature of the vintage toy, in conjunction with the lenticular sticker on here. Like Cyclone had the lenticular sticker, but also spun.
We had that with our vintage Cyclone. I mean, not our vintage, our MOTU Cyclone too. So that's not the first time they did something like that.
Yeah, it's not the first time they've done a lenticular sticker. You're right. And I think, but it's an incredibly well done sticker. It almost looks like 3D. Like the characters look like they're jumping out at me. I think it's just really incredibly well done. The sticker is great. I think the head is great. If you get an uncracked one, it's a shame that it's cracked. But for me, I've complained about quality control stuff before. But if I'm willing to overlook something like that because the rest of the figure is so great, that tells you something, that this figure really is great. And anybody that passed on him because they thought he was goofy looking or that he didn't belong in Masters or something, you really missed out on a cool figure.
Yeah, and if you're going to have Gwildor, might as well have him.
Yeah, he's in the bio. It ties into
it
ties into Gwildor. Well, I mean, if you're going to collect this line,
right.
in all, there is unless you're just picking and really picking and choosing and just going like the original 8-back characters or something, then you've got to understand that a lot of the Masters characters have some camp qualities to them.
Really picking and choosing, but sometimes I do pick and choose. But
Usually it's because you don't have enough money saved up.
And sometimes it's just I don't really like. Sometimes there's just certain times where I'm saving up for another figure.
Yeah.
So I don't really pick and choose too much, but
well, this month was a really tough call for you. I understand that you're, Sorceress, like you said, is a necessary character.
But he must have been saving up his money well. He had every figure.
Well, it was January was his birthday month, too, remember?
Oh, yeah.
So he had extra money in January from his birthday month that he put back. I think that just about covers everything on the figure, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about his accessories. He's got his vintage accessory. From the vintage art, there was like this spotlight-looking thing.
That's cool.
Shield. It's a really well-done shield. It's actually multiple pieces. Like the lens piece is one piece, and then the backer is a separate piece. It's really thick. It just feels really solid. It looks really, really cool. It clips on... The clip is actually not centered. It's not in the center this time. It's more towards the front. So you can get a shield that covers more of the arm as opposed to kind of jutting out more from the hand. Mm-hmm. It is... You have to get right in the right spot to get it to clip well. A lot of people complain that it's flopping all over the place. But if you clip it real close to his hand, I think it's a good, solid clip.
Right.
His other accessory is one that was made up because they wanted to have each figure to have 2 accessories. And it's sort of this cool video camera slash Uzi gun thing.
It's so cool.
It's so cool. I love this gun.
Figure.
It really is an awesome figure. I already said it, but I'm going to say it again. I don't mind saying it again. If you skipped out on Photog because you thought Photog looked lame, you might have made a mistake. Because this is one of my favorite figures in the line. He's just so well done. He poses so well. The colors are vibrant. Other than that crack, the quality on him is really, really nice. I love this figure. I love him.
Can I see it for a minute?
I love him.
See, this figure is really neat. If you didn't get it, you really missed out on something.
Yeah. Please missed out on it too. But he's on your birthday list. He's on your birthday list.
Yes.
Yeah. Alright, so let's talk about his bio. Fearless Photog, real name Jay, which I have no idea where that comes from. J-E-Y? I have no... And apparently, from what Scott was saying in one of the walkthroughs, Nathan wasn't so happy with his bio.
He wasn't?
That's what Scott said in the
they made up the bio for him?
Yeah, I guess Scott was trying to give him input. But Nathan is like a busy dude. A lot of the emails back and forth that John had with him, he just is a really busy guy. And you have to understand that to this guy, he's moved away from Masters. This is something that he did as a kid, and he's not like us where we're really, really into it. He's into other things, and he's, moved on and grown up or whatever. Anyway, apprenticed to Gwildor, Jay often daydreamed of life as a member of the Masters of the Universe. His dreams became a reality when he selected along with 5 other inventors by the Science Council to journey to Eternos to present his latest creation, the Photog emulator. During the presentation, a slight miscalculation led to a flux overload, merging Jay with his invention. Finding he could drain his enemy's powers and display their defeat on his chest, Jay called himself the Fearless Photog and was offered membership with his idols in the Masters of the Universe. He heroically fought during the second Ultimate Battleground, helping to defeat several of Skeletor's warriors, including Clawful and Whiplash. Photog drains his enemy's powers, displaying their defeat for all to see. I think this bio is fine. I mean, of course, Nathan has his own ideas because this is his character, but I think it works well.
I have one question, actually.
Yeah.
Wait, what were they saying about Whiplash and Clawful?
He defeated them in the second Ultimate Battleground. There's a couple things that I do want to mention, though. I'm really getting tired of stuff mentioning Gwildor or tying in Gwildor, but we don't have a Gwildor figure.
I know.
I want a Gwildor.
Me too.
Okay? Okay, so that was one thing. I like how it said he was selected along with 5 other inventors by the Science Council to journey. It kind of ties into the whole Nathan Bittner and his submission and the other ones being judged. That's what it sounded like to me. merges him together and he becomes a hero. That's all. I mean, this is all fine to me. I don't really have that much of a problem with this. And the last line reads like something that would have been on the vintage package where it says, Photog drains his enemy's powers, displaying their defeat for all to see. I could see that on a vintage package.
Did they mention that stuff on vintage packaging sometimes?
Usually the last line of a bio is the line that was on the vintage packaging, on the back of the package.
Oh.
Yeah. So this was written as if it sounded like that. I actually like this. He is the heroic master of cameras. That's a little strange, though. It's not really...
You can say, cameras, attack him.
Yeah, I would have called him, like, heroic master of photo manipulation or heroic master of... I don't know. But it seems kind of weird to just say heroic master of cameras. So that is Photog. Fearless Photog, I'm sorry. He is awesome. Yeah. Really awesome. I know I say this about a lot of figures. And I know I repeat myself a lot. And if I do, that's okay. Because I'm allowed to repeat myself. Because you know what? It's our videos.
Right.
But I love this figure. And I really, really hope that you got this figure. And you didn't just judge him based on the fact of him being a giant camera head dude. If you did get him and you're thinking about selling him, tear him open and play with him and you'll love him. At least I do.
Did you tear him open and play with him?
Heck yeah, dude. Alright, we'll sign off on this one, and then we'll do maybe a Battleground or Evil Inn or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
Yep.
So long, folks. Good journey. See you guys next time. Jinx it.